This just give you an idea what the inside of the cabin looks like. There's a front door there. This wall faces to the north. Come in the door, shelves line the upper edge of the entire cabin. We set all of our knickknacks on there, books, coffee grinders, coffee cans, some pictures, just junk we picked up over the years, things our grandparents collected. There's a lamp I got from Chuck Sackerson over there in the corner. It reminds me of the lamp that stood right beside my grandpa's green chair, which is sitting there in the corner. Many's a day, many's a night he sat in that chair, and in the day after we get back to the house for lunch, he'd take his nap. He'd go into the living room, sit in that chair, put his feet up on that ottoman. Within about 2 minutes, he'd be snoring away. Clay salvaged that. It's still in good shape. Brought it down here and put it in the cabin. Hanging on the wall there are a couple of patent deeds for the old Ewing place. We used to call it the 480. Signed by Harrison and one signed by Teddy Roosevelt. In the middle is my grandmother's hair that she cut when she got married. I don't know if that's common, women in her day and age or not, but my cousin Susie gave me that after her dad died, along with a bunch of documents. Those patent deeds my Uncle Gene gave me. He was partners when he and my grandfather bought that 480 acres up there, the old Ewing place. So he gave me those one day. Then moving on around the cabin, we're facing west now. The old wood cook stove came out of the mother-in-law cabin. Clara's mom, Pardis, lived in that cabin and bought that stove to cook on when they lived over there. Behind it is a metal shield I made in my garage one time. On top of it are a bunch of knickknacks collected over the years. There's a leather tooling made by my dad when he was younger. He made 2 of those. He made that one. I actually made 4. Clay and I got these. There's that one. And then there's this one over here. Right there. That hangs right beside a picture of my grandpa feeding pigs over at the barn. When my sister sold my dad's place, we went up in the attic and we found that Russell painting all rolled up and stashed away down there. I bought that revolver from a friend of mine who moved back east, put it on that piece of wood, and we framed it with old barbed wire, an old bullet mold that Clay found with his metal detector up at the old Serby cabin on Big Oak Flat. And then there's a sack of Bull Durham roll-your-own cigarettes, either my grandfather's or my dad's. So back over here, there's a rocking chair my mom left when she moved with my sister after they sold. There's a lamp I made. There's a bunk system for the residents. Hard to figure out where that idea came from, huh? Looked like it just came off of a Navy ship. Lived in. You can guess who sleeps in that middle one with the 2 foam mattress pads. Below is kind of a catch-all. And up is where you put the fragile stuff. Again, more knickknacks hanging on the wall. Hard to see them with the closet there, where the shirt's hanging. An old cap and ball rifle. There's a 22 that my grandmother bought my grandfather up there on top. My Uncle Gene ended up with that and he gave it to me. There's an old dresser we pulled out of the barn and salvaged that used to belong to my parents. Now we're looking at the rear wall, so we're facing south. There's a couple more items here at the top of that. That's an appointment of my great-grandfather, Cassius Whitney. his appointment as a judge in Nebraska, Hardington, Nebraska. That's dated 1903. On the bottom is the brand registration for my great-grandfather and my father. It's dated 1921, no, 22, when my grandparents moved up here and began ranching. In the middle is my grandfather's honorary FFA pin. There's the back door. You see the shed out the window there. And over here, the east wall. The cabin is square except for this little cubby hole right here. That's the shower. Got a floor pan in there that was salvaged by Chuck Bartlett. He was doing a remodel down in Visalia. He grabbed that for us. That's it. Not very big. He's got that floor pan and this little space here you can walk through with your shoulders. There's an old mirror my grandfather used to shave in every morning. Towel hangers. There's sink and cabinets here, salvaged out of the mother-in-law cabin when they remodeled over there, and my sister put in all new cabinets. More knickknacks hanging up there. Those old purple squares. I did a stained glass frame for that window and put that in here not too long ago. Rex gave me those squares. He salvaged those from something. More cabinets that came out of that cabin. Those cabinets up there came out of that cabin. Got the required coffee maker. Upgraded our solar so I can now run a microwave oven in here. Heat stuff up, cook some food. Storage space in there for all the what have you. Little refrigerator, apartment refrigerator I bought at a yard sale up in Three Rivers. Smack in the middle of the room, an old dinette set my grandparents had. I think my folks gave it to them for their anniversary one year, back in the early 70s or mid 70s. Up above that is a ceiling fan, bought on Craigslist and hauled down here, installed. That's a must here when it gets hot. Then there's the opening to get up above into the attic, where we store stuff that we have absolutely no use for and don't even remember what's up there. And from the refrigerator, another window. There's a couch Chuck Sackerson gave me. Another lamp I made. There's a gun rack over there. A 4-holer. Antique shells. There's some old hunting licenses from the 40s that belonged to my dad when he was a teenager. There's another cubby hole for storage down there where all the ammo goes. Camp stove, what have you. Now we're back to facing north. There's a clock I made up there, brought down so we can tell the time. There's a picture of Skinny Kirk and his Conservation Corps putting in the bridge down by the new ranch house in 1940. Picture of the Whitney family taking up at Little Oak Flat at the old place. Picture of my great-grandfather and grandmother and my grandma and grandpa on their 20th anniversary, which coincided with 48th of my great-grandparents. Got married on the same day, April 5th. Dedication to the cabin builders and the donators of all the items you see in here. Old telephone that used to sit by the kitchen door in my grandparents' house. That house right there. Old skillet my grandpa used to use for an ashtray, sitting right over here on that chair beside a lamp that looked just like that. That table Chuck gave me with that couch. Appreciate it. My grandma's fishing pole. She used to fish down when the lake would come up. Fish down there in the 80 on Horse Creek, where the lake would come up and the fish would all hide in the weeds. An old baseball bat that managed to survive all the years of hitting rocks and dirt clods and whatever else. So, that's it for the inside of the cabin. We'll try the outside next.